Good afternoon, Swansboro High School. My name is Mr. Daniels and you are currently in the Pirate Cove. In this video segment, we will break apart the ACT that you will take your junior year of school. We will cover the format of the test while addressing some basic strategies that are specific to this test. Now we have a jam-packed video today, so buckle up, because here we go. Welcome to our coverage of the ACT. Now for those of you who are currently a sophomore or a junior, you should be familiar with the KAPLAN test. If not, please take the time to check out one of the previous videos on my YouTube channel titled Welcome to the 9th Grade for more information. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Why are we taking this test? We took one like it last year. What makes this so special?
Oh, young, naive Mr. McFarland. This test will help you get into whatever college you want in the entire country. The ACT is a college entry exam, and the score that you will receive in the mail can be used to apply to colleges.
Wait, what?
Okay, let me break this down for you. Once you have completed the ACT test, the score will be mailed to you. While this may not seem like a big deal, this is an amazing opportunity. You will know as a junior in high school whether or not you need to take the SAT in the future, or if you already have the scores that you need to get into the college of your choosing. Simply go to google.com, type in ACT score for whatever university you are interested in, and boom, you'll have a better idea of what you need to work on for the remainder of high school. Also, if your ACT score is high enough, it could act as a substitute for some entry exams for college. Next, we will be introduced to the format of the test with a little help from an amazing resource, the KAPLAN Test Prep. KAPLAN is a phenomenal test prep website for the ACT and SAT, along with other tests that may come up in college. So for right now, I'll let them do the work. Take it away.
Dreaming about getting into your target school? Competition to college admission is intense. Unfortunately, dreaming is not enough. To gain an edge, your application has to have great grades, enthusiastic letters of recommendation, and well-written personal essays. But to really stand out from the crowd, you need an excellent ACT score. That's why preparing for the ACT is such a critical part of your college planning. And the first step in your preparation is to learn what's actually on the test. There are 4 required sections on the ACT: English, math, reading, science, plus an optional writing test. Each section always appears in this order, and the total number of questions in each section never changes. So let's start from the beginning and look at the ACT English test. It's divided into 5 passages, and each one is followed by about 15 questions. You probably think the ACT English section grills you on spelling or vocabulary, but it doesn't. This part of the ACT actually tests your skills in punctuation, grammar, and sentence structure. It also assesses your rhetorical skills, like organizing text and making sure it's styled clearly. On the math test, you'll have 60 minutes to answer 60 multiple-choice questions. What kinds of math do you need to know? You'll see questions from pre-algebra, elementary algebra, intermediate algebra, and coordinate geometry, even some plane geometry and a little bit of trigonometry. Next, you'll square off against the reading test. You'll have 4 passages, each followed by 10 questions. The passages fall into 4 categories: social sciences, natural sciences, humanities, and prose fiction. The questions expect you to recognize themes, comprehend specific facts, and understand the structure of each passage. For the prose fiction questions, you'll have to understand the thoughts, feelings, and motivations of the fictional characters you read about. The final section is a science test. There are 7 reading passages, and each are followed by 5 to 7 questions. You'll read about various kinds of scientific topics drawn from biology, chemistry, physics, geology, astronomy, and meteorology. And you'll have to understand them so you can use them as a basis for inferences. Then there's the optional ACT writing test. It's 30 minutes long, includes 1 essay, and is always the final section of the test. And if you choose to do it, and you should, you'll be given a topic or an issue and are expected to take a position and support your point of view with concrete examples. The ACT writing test is a great way to show your target schools why you're such a great candidate. We strongly recommend you give it a shot. Congratulations, you've taken the first step in preparing for the ACT, learning what's on the test. Now it's time for the next step, practice. Check out Kaplan's ACT programs, including our free practice test events, and let us help you build a program that meets your individual needs and schedule. You can score higher on the ACT. We can show you how, guaranteed or your money back.
The simplest direction that anyone can give you is to read the directions. Don't assume that you automatically know everything. Don't let your confidence override your ability. You may forget about an element of the exam that you otherwise wouldn't if you weren't taking the real deal. The most important detail about the ACT is this: when in doubt, guess. Unlike the SAT, the ACT does not penalize for guessing. In fact, it actually rewards you for guessing on questions that you don't know. Your scores on the multiple choice test are based on the number of questions you can answer correctly. There is no penalty. Therefore, if you are stuck on a question, go back to it. Answer the easy questions first, and then go back to the more difficult ones. If this sounds too good to be true, kinda is. If you don't answer all the questions, you are robbing yourself of points, and the test administrator cannot remind you of this during the test. However, there are two types of guessing: random and educated. A random guess is for a question that you have no understanding on. This type of guess should never be used because although you may not be able to identify the correct answer, you can still figure out which one is incorrect, therefore taking out some of the options. This technique is called educated guessing. Using this, you increase your odds by marking out answers that you know are incorrect in hopes of increasing your percentage of guessing the correct one. Now let's take a minute to talk about the scoring for the ACT. A perfect score for the ACT is a 36 for the composite score. Your composite score is made by taking the average of your scores in English, math, reading, and science. Each of these tests has a high score of 36 as well, so it's the average of all four of those together. I mentioned earlier that you can Google what the average ACT score for a specific university is. If there are a few colleges that you have in mind, go ahead and research their scores before taking the ACT. Set an achievable goal for yourself because a perfect score may not be necessary. Okay, let's say we have two students, Kathy and Jessica. Kathy has always dreamed of going to Stanford University. Before taking the ACT, she found out that her target composite score is a 31, which is 90% correct for the test. Kathy knows that she won't be penalized for guessing on the test, but she also knows that she can't afford to get many wrong either. Now let's take a moment to look at Jessica. Both of Jessica's parents are alumni of NC State University, and she wants to follow in their footsteps. Before taking the ACT, she found out that the average score for NC State is about 25 for the composite score, which means she will only need to get about 70% of the questions correct. Jessica now has a little more freedom with guessing if she needs to. The purpose of these examples is to show you that you need to do your research before going into the test. Understanding the scores and how to achieve them will not only make the test easier to take, it will also be significantly less stressful. Now to wrap up our video, I'm going to remind you of a few basic test strategies that you have encountered for years, but your friends, not you of course, always seem to forget. If you are unsure of the answer to a question, go ahead and mark out those that are clearly incorrect. Remember, educated guessing. If you have extra time in a section, recheck your answers and make sure that the question you are answering in the book is the same one that you are answering on the bubble sheet. Get plenty of sleep the night before the test. Don't stay up all night dropping Twitter bombs and worrying about gossip.
That's why her hair is so big, it's full of secrets.
Make sure to dress comfortable in layers. No, not like this guy. You don't know the temperature of the room that you will be in, so prepare for the heat and for the cold.
The Iceman cometh.
Make sure to eat breakfast before taking the exam. And no, a honey bun and a Mountain Dew does not count.
Chip, I'm on jacked up on Mountain Dew.
If you eat a meal high in sugar, you're going to crash and get sleepy after about an hour. Last but not least though, make sure to avoid the white rabbit syndrome.
I'm late.
Don't spend your entire time focusing on the clock. It will eventually become a distraction and the quality of your work will suffer. Your test administrator will let you know when you have 5 minutes left in the test. So be sure to pace yourself. Remember, you can only receive credit for correct answers, no penalties. Therefore, when you turn in your test for each section, everyone needs to be bubbled in. So that's all the time that we have here for this segment of the ACT. Tune in next time where we'll discuss the breakdown for each test and see if young Mr. McFarland will ever pay attention.
Wait.
Thanks for watching and paying attention, or else.
I hate when people talk during the movie.